Hello, everyone. My name is Jenna Parker. I am the president of Council for Exceptional Children, a club here on campus. So today I'm going to be introducing our club, our mission, what we do here on campus. We also will be talking about Disability Awareness Week, which is this week, and then I'll be introducing the chapel we have for today. So just to begin, we go to our slides. I don't know how to. Oh, okay, here we go. So this is our Grace College CEC mission. So CEC is a national organization, and we have our own Grace College chapter here on campus. So this is our mission statement as a club here on campus, and I'm going to read through it because it is really important for us in what we do here. So it says, Grace College CEC is a chapter under the National CEC organization and is aligned to the vision and goals of CEC. The Grace chapter exists to raise awareness on campus of individuals with disabilities, to love one another better, and to learn how to better meet the needs of those in special education. Those goals are accomplished through monthly planning meetings and the participation in our community through various committees and outreach events. So one of the biggest difference between the national organization and what our chapter does is just our love for Jesus and how we want to incorporate that in what we do and how we love other people better. So that's why we want to take the time to learn about how to treat people with disabilities, because we want to be able to love one another better. So these are our 3 goals, which stem from our mission statement. It's professional development, acts of service, and campus awareness. So we're going to go into some of the events that we've done on campus and how our goals align with those events that we've done. So one of the first things, this is from a couple years ago, is the National CEC Conference. Like I said, CEC is a national organization, so this club chapter was able to go to the national conference in order to develop their professional ways in the classroom, learning new strategies and how to better do special education. Another professional development event that we had was also led by one of our board members. This was in order to make or explain better strategies and how to teach people with autism in the classroom. And this is really important in order to make our teachers more successful in the classroom. So we also do a lot of work with Cardinal Services, and Cardinal Services is an organization that advocates for people with disabilities through community living services. We are able to partner with them in a lot of our community outreach events. So one of the outreach events we've done is pumpkin painting, and this is one of my favorites because we get to be creative with them. We do it in the fall, so we're outside, and it's a lot of fun. Another event we've done with them is Lancer League. This was at our sports girls' women's soccer game. We also do basketball games, which is actually coming up in February. This is really fun. They get to experience campus with us. It's a really cool experience. And then we also do Cardinal Service cards. We made Christmas cards for Cardinal Services and then delivered them to the houses, which was really cool. We got to just have time with our members and have a fun time. So another event we've done in active service is the Prom Dress Drive. So Night to Shine is an organization with the Tim Tebow Foundation, and a church locally hosts it. And for Night to Shine, people with disabilities get the chance to go to prom. And so what we do for Prom Dress Drive is all the girls who are going to prom get the chance to get in their dresses and have like a say yes to the dress moment. And it's really cool opportunity for them, and we love doing that. So this is Night to Shine from 2020. We also have Night to Shine coming up February 11th, this Friday. If you're interested or want to volunteer, just reach out to Grace CEC and we definitely will get you connected. So finally, this is Disability Awareness Week, and that's what this week is. So today we are doing a disability awareness panel, and then following the panel, there's going to be a booth set up at Alpha, which will be raising awareness for people with disabilities. It will give you the chance to learn more. There'll be a QR code, and you can scan it, and you'll have questions asked to you, and then once you submit that, it'll give you the answers, and it'll really just break those stereotypes. We're really excited about that, and we encourage you to take advantage of it. And then on Wednesday, tomorrow, we are doing a fundraiser for Mason Metzger. It's during the double header, And so we will be doing a pieing a professor. The professors that have the chance to get pied are Mike Yoakum, Dr. Lori Owens, John Sloat, and Dr. Ratza. So what we're going to do is that each dollar that is donated will then be put into a bucket for the professor you want to see pied. And then during the men's halftime of the game, which will be around like 8:30, 8:45, we will have them get pied. And as of right now, they're not going to know that they're getting pied. They'll know when they have the pie in their face. So we really encourage you to come out to this event. We're raising money for Mason, and just to go into a little bit about Mason, he was diagnosed at a young age with spastic cerebral palsy. So he is classified as someone with quadriplegia. So currently Mason is trying to get more freedoms, and this means he's trying to raise money for a van. So we are just helping him raise money for that van, and we really encourage you to come out and support Mason and also see your favorite professor pied. So Thursday, Brent Hansen will be here on Chapel. We are really excited about that. And then he will also be doing a book chat and signing Thursday evening. You'll get to learn more about his story and also get to learn more about his books. And there will be discounted books offered there. That's at the Morgan Library. And then Friday is our final day. Everything leads up to this day. It's called What's Next Day. So Brent Hansen will also be speaking that day and Friday at Chapel. But there will be students with disabilities from local high schools who will be here with us on campus. And I really encourage you to just give them a warm welcome when they come in. They'll be sitting with us, having Chapel, and then following Chapel, they're going to have the opportunity to learn more about businesses behind the stage. They'll have a scavenger hunt. They'll get to learn more about what these vendors do, like YMCA, the bank, how they can get connected after high school. It's like what's next for them. So we give them the opportunity to learn more about those things. So now that we went through all of Disability Awareness Week, I want to introduce to you the chapel for today. Our moderator is Connie Burkholder. She will be talking to, yes, go ahead. She will be talking to students on campus. So for our chapel today, we have our own Grace students. And our hope is today to raise awareness for students with disabilities on our own campus. So just give a warm welcome to these students, and I hope that you guys learn something new.
Good morning. My name is Connie Burkholder, and for the past 4.5 years, I have had the privilege to work at the Morgan Library as the coordinator of Student Disability Services. Prior to that, I was an elementary special education teacher for 8 years. And part of the reason I chose that profession was when my brother was in elementary school, he really struggled with school. And I'm a little older than all of you, and at that time, there was not really support or resources in the school to help him. When I was in 10th grade, I had a hockey coach, and she said, "I'm a special ed teacher." I asked her, "What do you mean you're a special ed teacher?" And she explained a little bit about her job and just how much she loves supporting and encouraging students with disabilities. And I thought, I want to do that when I grow up. So I had the blessing of being able to do that for 8 years in an elementary school. And now I have the blessing of assisting students here on campus that have disabilities. This morning, 4 students have agreed to join us and share a little bit about their experiences. So I'm going to just give them a moment to say their name, what year you are in college, and something that you would like, your major, and something that you would like everyone to know about you.
Hi guys, my name is Jacob. I am a facility and event management, and I'm in my 3rd year. And an interesting fact, I just had my gotcha day. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically the day I got adopted, so yeah.
Hello, my name is Hannah Mish. I am a 1st year here at Grace. My major is history, and something interesting about me is that I love spending my free time expressing myself creatively through music and art and poetry.
Hi, I'm Amy Hutchison. This is my 4th year at Grace. I'm an elementary and special education major, and in my free time I really like thrifting and hiking.
Hi, I'm Beverly Winters. I'm a 2nd year at Grace, and I'm an elementary ed major. And something interesting is I am absolutely obsessed with my cat, Cricket.
For our first question, can you just tell us when you either first recognized that you might have a disability or when you were diagnosed with a disability? Jacob, we'll start with you.
So actually, my disability was diagnosed right when I was born. I think a couple months, and that's due to complications with just the birth and something that my birth mom decided to put in her body. So that's how I have cerebral palsy. So it's basically what Mason Metzger also has, but mine's more, it just affects my legs and I'm able to do other things, but yeah. And then there's some sort of learning disability, but it's not like clear what that is.
So I didn't find out until I was actually 15, which is quite common with girls on the spectrum because I am actually autistic. And so I kind of knew when I was growing up that I was very different from my peers. And I didn't necessarily know why, but I didn't really understand them. And they didn't really understand me. So I started doing a lot of research when I was a sophomore in high school. And I eventually felt, wow, I really apply and fit into a lot of these different like cookie cutter definitions of like what autism is. And so I brought my thoughts and my, not really concerns, but my overall suspicion that I might be on the spectrum to my parents, and they agreed to get me evaluated, and I was officially diagnosed when I was 15.
So for me, I was also diagnosed when I was in high school. I sort of knew when I was in elementary and middle school that I was a little bit different. I didn't really know why or what exactly. My teachers didn't know, and I didn't know, like I said, until I was in high school. Yeah.
I was diagnosed with dyslexia when I was in 4th grade, and like I had no idea what it was or like what was going on. Like my grades up until that point were like all A's, and then they just dropped suddenly to like F's. And so that's when I was like, okay, well, my parents were like, okay, something is definitely wrong. Like there's something going on. And that's when like we were taken to get tested.
Thanks. Excuse me. How have you been able to use your disability to help others, and how has it benefited you? Beverly, you want to start with this one?
Yeah, so I work with like tons of different students through my student mentor job as well as my library position. And so something that I've been able to use is like I am very, very empathetic to students who are struggling in their classes because I understand what that was like to just not know what was going on. And like you're trying all the time, but like it's just not working. And so like that is something I try to take into like my different jobs as well as just like to all the people around me. It's like I can understand that things are hard, but like we can get through them.
Yeah, so pretty similar throughout different practicum placements and different classroom experiences. I have been able to really relate to students and empathize with them, specifically with students who struggle in school, because I struggle a lot in school, and so especially with younger students who maybe aren't diagnosed yet or who just need a little bit extra help, I can empathize and understand and provide just some support and just the love that they need.
I also agree that empathy is one thing that has really shown itself in me, and when I help other people, I'm very good at feeling what other people feel, which can be a good thing and can not be a good thing sometimes when I feel things way too intensely, but it definitely helps me relate to the people who I love and support people.
I think for me, when it comes to how I can help people, honestly, I think it's a gift between just being able to empathize and relate to people on different different areas, I'm able to connect with different groups. And the way I do this is I listen, and people come to me with, like when they're struggling or when they want for work. It's when they want to rant. I'm the guy they go to, just because I'll rant with them, or I'll listen and I'll be like, yeah, I agree, and then I give them sound advice, and it feels like it's like the advice they need at that time. And then it's benefited me because it just shows like this is like my disability is a gift from God, and like I can use that to like towards His glory, and like just how I affect people around me.
Thank you all. So this is one that will probably may surprise some people. What are some stereotypes that you have faced in regards to your disability? Maybe some things that might surprise us, or things that we wouldn't particularly know. Amy, do you want to try this one?
Yeah. So for me, I have ADHD, and so I feel like it's common that people see it as, oh, they're usually too hyperactive, they can't focus, they're too distracted, which are some common characteristics, but there are many characteristics of ADHD, and those are just some generalizations. It's not always the case, sometimes it is, but there are many characteristics that go into it.
I definitely relate with that one. One main stereotype that I thought of that kind of encompasses a lot of different ones is that there's kind of like this image that we all think of when we think of different disabilities, especially autism. And I know that I don't necessarily fit with the main kind of picture that many people think of. And so sometimes that interferes with like people thinking, well, maybe you really aren't. Maybe you aren't on the spectrum. Maybe your experiences aren't necessarily as valid. And so I definitely think that going into conversations thinking that you know what disabilities are and how they appear in different people is definitely limiting to conversations and
So some stereotypes. Well, I guess one would be that I can't do most things by myself, and like I'm not like physically I can't do things. And another one that would probably be I've had a lot of questions about like are your legs like metal, or like are these, I don't remember what these are called, but my braces, like, are they like stuck on my legs? And it cracks me up because I'm like, no, it's just I just put them on, and it's not like anything that special. But I mean, it would be cool if I got like metal legs, but that's not the case. So yeah, but another stereotype would probably just be that I'm not intelligent, but it's just yeah. So yeah.
Thank you each for sharing. When you share with others about your disability, what are some questions that they've asked you that you find helpful, and what are some things that maybe you found frustrating or hurtful?
For me, I will start with the bad and then end with the good, I guess. So one question that I have been asked before that I didn't really care for in the way it was worded and kind of the assumptions under it. Once I was asked by someone, why don't you just get over that? And that's a common question that kind of can encompass a lot of different things. But the person who said that was talking about my sensitivities to like light and sound and different things like that. And so it's kind of coming with the assumption that I'm not like everyone else, and some things are very, very uncomfortable. Like super bright lights and super loud noises are not just uncomfortable, they're like very painful, and it's not something that I can just get over. So that's something that I definitely think is like a common assumption. And then ending with a question that I really do appreciate is when someone comes up to me and I feel open enough to share my diagnosis, and they open up with like, oh, well, tell me more about it, or what can I do, or like, what are your triggers, different things like that. And it really just makes me feel like, wow, these people like really want to understand me, and they value me, and kind of like that, yeah.
So I kind of feel like I don't usually share that I have ADHD. It's not something that people see, so they don't really know. But whenever I do discuss it with people, something that I do like is whenever people ask and they want to know more, and they go beyond just the stereotype of what they think it might be. And then something I don't necessarily like is whenever people kind of have those generalizations about it, and they say things like how it's just for little kids or it's just in boys, but there are many different characteristics for many different people, so.
I agree with Amy. Like, it's not something that I talk a lot about because I've gotten like negative questions quite a bit growing up about it. And so like one thing was just like a lot of my peers growing up was just like, oh, you'll grow out of it. Like, so what, you can't like read and like spell. And so they were just like, it's your fault, like just practice more. And it's like, no, like that's not actually how that works. And so like dealing with that was just kind of like a negative growing up.
I think for me, a negative or a question I don't like is when people say, "Do you need help?" Because to be honest, like I'm a very stubborn and independent person. So for somebody to ask me, I'm like, "No, I got it." And my friends know, like, if I fall, like usually people pick up my arms. And I'm like, "Well, here's two things. You can either let me go and I can actually get up, or you can decide to try to pull me up because I'm not. I mean, you took away the only thing I can actually get up with." But I think a good question to ask would probably be like, what is your disability, and like what does that look like? Because I'm open to have an open dialogue about that and just talk it through. I'm very willing to explain that to you. Like I love little kids because they'll just straight up ask you like, "What's wrong?" And they're not doing it in like intentional like hateful way, but I get to just explain it to them, and usually their parents standing right there, so it's a good interaction, and I wish people would do that more.
Thank you. What was your experience in elementary, middle school, high school, K-12? What was that like? And what has your experience here at Grace been like? Be honest. I know I'm sitting on the stage, but you can be honest about your experience here at Grace. And Jacob, are you okay if we start with you?
Yeah. So let's see. K through second grade, I was in a private Christian school, so there wasn't a ton of bullying because it was a small school, and I knew people, and other than the name calling, there was really not like bad bullying. And then like third through fifth grade, I was homeschooled, so obviously that's family. They don't do that. And then really high school is when I kind of realized like there's some bullying going on. There's like the two main ones I've thought about is like people like to mimic my walk. I mean, I guess that's just a form of flattery, but it's whatever. And I think what was the other one? Oh, and there's just some interesting name calls that I've been called, and I kind of laugh because it's like, you really had to think about that one, didn't you? But yeah.
My experience in elementary and middle school and high school, especially in elementary and middle school before I actually knew that I was on the spectrum, it was very challenging because I didn't necessarily fit in, and I can't fit in even if I wanted to. I am totally authentic, and I cannot imagine trying to change myself. It's something that I cannot physically do, even if I wanted to. So a lot of people didn't necessarily understand, well, why is she like that? And I didn't really know either. I just thought I was doing my own thing. And when I was finally diagnosed, I was like, wow, this, like, all the pieces are coming together. I'm understanding why I am the way I am. And that gave me a lot of, like, sense of validity, and I understood myself a lot better. But coming here to Grace, I have had a completely different experience than I did when I was at a brick and mortar school before I moved to online school in my high school. I have been so well accommodated to and respected, and people genuinely have responded so kindly to me, and that's something that I really appreciate. Like, all of my friends, shout out to you back there, they have been so kind, and they've just really understood me and wanted to understand me, and I've really appreciated that.
So my disability, it affects who I am, and so I've always kind of been different, and I didn't really understand why, especially throughout elementary school. Like I said, it wasn't until I was in high school when I was diagnosed, so then I started receiving different accommodations and things. And then here at Grace, I feel like everyone has been so accommodating, like you said, and understanding.
So like K through third grade was pretty okay. Like my school didn't have spelling tests, so like I wasn't like challenged in that area. And like spelling mistakes were just kind of common for little kids. And then in fourth grade when I was diagnosed, I had to go to like normal 8 to 3 school, and then there was a program in Indianapolis that like you had to go to like 2 or 3 times a week for 2 hours that would like work on my short-term memory and like spelling, and so I did that. And then there was a homeschool program that went with it, so it's like I had normal school, and then depending on which day of the week it was, I had either homeschool or the Indianapolis school. So like for 6 months I was in like 3 schools at the same time, and it was crazy. But like it helped a lot. And so like growing up in like middle and high school, like it did help a lot. And like coming to Grace, I'm a lot more comfortable with my diagnosis, and like the people here are very accommodating, and like they will listen and like give you what you need, which is really helpful.
I will say I meet with a lot of different peers in my position at schools all around the state of Indiana, and I always get to brag because I say that our professors are the best, that they understand and are accepting and want all of our students to be learners. So I'm really glad to hear that you've all had a good experience here and are feeling supported. Our final question that we're going to do here before we start to wrap things up is, what's one takeaway that you would like students to leave chapel with today, or even something maybe to focus on this week, as it is a week focused on disability awareness? So a takeaway or something you'd like for them to focus on. And Jacob, I'm sorry, but I think you're the lucky winner again to start things.
I think takeaway, at least personally, is don't be scared to go up to a person with disabilities. We're very friendly. I assume with this group, but at least I am. It's just, again, talking about like open dialogue and having that discussion. I'm very for that, and because people with disabilities are just a different type of person, but we're still people, and we still have feelings and thoughts, and we would like to share that with you. But going forward this week, just have an open mind, and to speak on Mason. Mason's actually my cousin, so I've known that he's wanted this like van, and he's actually going through a similar program that I had to go through to be able to drive. So for us to be able to support him like that, that's like tremendous and so cool. So I hope that you are able to do that if God allows that.
I also relate to Jacob in that I am also very open about my diagnosis, and I think the best way to break stereotypes is just to have open conversations and to discuss anything and everything. I mean, there are questions that can be kind of hurtful, but the only way we can break them is by discussing them. And one takeaway that I would like everyone to think about is the quote by Temple Grandin that says that people with disabilities are different, but not less. So we are all different, and we're all created different. And even though some of our differences are more obvious and more challenging, it doesn't make us any less than anyone else.
One thing that I would like people to consider throughout the week, and it's just that not all disabilities are visible, and I feel like some people, everyone is going through something, whether it be a mental illness or a disability or different struggles. Everybody has something, and so I feel like the most important thing is just to be kind and then empathize and understand with others.
I agree with what you guys were saying. Like, ask questions, but do it in like a nice way, and do it in a place that they are comfortable with. Like, just don't like walk up to someone on the street and ask. Like, do it in ways that they can comfortably respond.
Well, I want to thank each of you for sharing today and just being vulnerable and being willing to share what's on your heart, some of the struggles that you've been through. And if you are sitting out here in the audience and you've had similar situations, or you have questions, maybe you've been diagnosed with a disability, or think, I can relate to some of the things that were shared this morning, I would be happy to meet with you and talk and just explain some of the things, the supports and services that are available here at Grace. I would really encourage you to check out the different activities that CEC is doing this week, the basketball game tomorrow night. I also know Mason, he's a great guy. He's working really hard to get that van. We won't hold it against him. I think he went to IWU, so we won't hold that against him. We'll still help him out. But also come out to hear Brent Hansen, come to the library book signing. And I'm just going to take a moment to pray, and then we'll just go on from there. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this morning. I thank you for our panel, their willingness to share. And Lord, I just thank you that you have brought them here to Grace, and how their speaking this morning can just open up new thoughts and ideas here on our campus. I thank you, Lord, that they have all felt welcome here and have had positive experiences. And I thank you for our student body who is willing to embrace all students, Lord. And I thank you that you have created each one of us different, but together we all can make the image of you, Lord. And without one of us here, we can't see a true picture of you. So I thank you for providing differences, creating each one of us differently, and allowing us to love and accept each other. Lord, I ask that you would bless CEC and the events that they have planned this week. I ask that you would continue the discussions that were started today, and that you would just bless the rest of our day. In your name, amen. You can scan the QR code and you're dismissed.